Good evening, Varuna.
సబ్జెక్ట్ ఎవరు
Varuna, good evening.
బాధగా ఉంటున్నాను పక్కన పెట్టారు నా బాధ
Good evening, sir.
Yeah, good evening, everyone. So I think, I'm audible to everyone.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so in the last class we did about food.
Good evening, sir.
So,
Hello, sir.
yeah, hello.
Good
So in
evening.
the last class we did about food, right? We did the net force and how can net force.
Sir, I have
Yes,
a doubt regarding this topic, sir. I have a doubt only in this one question. Can you please explain this, sir?
yeah, please share your question.
Sir, can you say it?
No, in this way I can't see it. So what you can do, you can take a click and share to my number. Okay.
Okay, sir.
So you just take a click of it and share to my number so that I will be able to see. Or if you
Okay,
can
sir.
share a click of it through the Zoom only. Both ways it
Okay.
will work. Okay.
Okay.
Right. Or you can share in the group. Okay. So we'll continue here. Pranav? No, we are going topic wise actually. We are going topic wise. See, we started from motion. Now we have finished the force. Okay. The next topic we'll be doing about the pressure. Or we will just see today we are supposed to see about the contact and non-contact forces, right? So what are contact and non-contact forces? We have seen some of the examples of the contact forces and some examples of the non-contact forces.
Means the force when there is a physical contact between two bodies, sir.
The force which acts when there is a physical contact between the two bodies, that we call as the contact force. And the force which acts when there is the force that acts without any physical contact is called as a non-contact. Right. So today we'll see one of the contact forces that is friction. Today we'll see one of the contact forces that is friction, and the second contact force, the normal reaction or the reaction force. Okay. Both the forces they are important for our studies. So first of all, you see right the contact force friction. So we studied about friction. So first of all, it is contact force. Right? We studied the definition of friction. What type of force is it? It is a contact force. Got it? Friction is a contact force which always opposes motion. So with friction, it is a contact force which act between the two surfaces that have a relative motion between them. So the force of friction, it is a contact force. There is a contact between the two surfaces, then there will be a friction. Now, in which the direction in which the force of friction acts. Can anyone tell what is the direction force of friction acts?
Opposite to the direction of motion.
Opposite to the direction of motion. Alright, so the direction in which motion is occurring, in the direction opposite to that, you have the force of friction. So, this, suppose if you have a block over here, is moving with some force F. There is on this there is some force F being applied. If it is moving with velocity v, there is a force of friction. It's moving with velocity v towards. I think the screen disappeared all of a sudden. You see the force of friction, it is always opposite to the direction of motion. Got it? Now, we'll talk of a case when the force of friction acts in the direction of motion. Alright? So this is a special case of a rolling motion. When a wheel of a body is rolling, then the force of friction acts in the opposite direction. It acts in a direction opposite to the direction of motion. So not opposite, in the direction of motion. For example, we consider here. Now this is a special case of friction where we have the force of friction acting in the direction of motion. So a very special case. I think we had discussed one of the doubts also regarding this. Okay. And someone was asking for doubt, so the person has not shared the doubt. Are you sharing? Yeah, are you sharing your doubt? So this one we have. So you have a wheel which is rotating over here, right? And now we see if the wheel starts to rotate with a greater force, with some amount of force, or there is an acceleration in the wheel. All right, all right. Okay, so I think your mics are disabled. Just 1 minute. No, I don't think anyone. Is there anyone whose mic is disabled? Yeah, it is disabled then. Okay. I don't know where this thing is from. No, I haven't disabled anyone's mic. You can see I haven't disabled any. Hmm. Even if I'm making someone like, if I'm making ask to unmute. So are you getting any request like ask to unmute? No. Yeah, I heard someone. There, so I'll check the settings. don't think anyone's mic is disabled from here. If anyone can help me out how to enable your mic. Yeah, Gagana is disabled, then how to make you enable? Don't see any controls regarding that. From where you can. You have your annotation on. So if anyone can annotate and tell me from where you to unmute. From my side, you have not muted. No, I didn't even turn off the chat also. Okay, host control. So who is the host now? Just 1 minute. Yeah, Nanika. Nanika. Just 1 minute. Host control. Unmute everyone, but there is no such option of unmute everyone. I just checked out that there is no such option. If I see people, participants over here, I don't have any such option as to unmute. Host control, just 1 minute. I have the option of mute all. Okay. Okay. Now I think it's okay. Now I think everyone's mic is working now.
Yes, sir.
Okay,
Yes, sir.
okay, I got it. Okay, all right. Thank you, everyone. So you can just remove your annotations.
Sir, every time you disconnect, it is coming like that only, sir.
Every time it disconnects, then it becomes display only.
Not only in this class, every class, sir.
Okay, earlier it was not so. Earlier it was like when it was disconnected, then you people were getting the complete it.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Okay, anyways, we continue here. So now we are talking of here a body which is accelerating, or an accelerating truck, an accelerating car. Okay. So when a body is accelerating, yeah, what happened? Venkat Rudra?
Not able to on my video, sir.
No.
Yes,
Okay.
sir.
Okay, I'll just make the video. Don't worry about the video right now. Okay, don't worry about the video. All right. So see. Here. So here we have an accelerating body. So when a body accelerates, that is generally a body which has wheels. So when a body which has wheels, it is accelerating. So it pushes the ground in the backward direction. All right. So this wheel, it is trying to rotate like this. It is accelerating. So when it is accelerating, it is applying a force on the ground in the backward direction like this. It is applying a force on the ground like this. As a result, the ground provides a reaction to the vehicle in the forward direction, and therefore the vehicle is able to move in the forward direction. So remember that when a vehicle is accelerating, okay, so when a vehicle is accelerating, in that case, the force of friction, it act in the forward direction and not in the backward direction. Got it?
Sir, this only takes place in the rolling motion.
Yeah, for the rolling motion only, not for the
Okay,
other
sir.
motion. Okay, for the rolling motion, as rolling is caused due to the friction only. So for the rolling motion, it happens that when the body is accelerating, then in that case, the force of friction, it act in the forward direction.
Sir, for example, cycle.
Yeah, for example, a cycle, an accelerated
Sir,
cycle.
what happens when it deaccelerates?
Yeah, when it deaccelerates, then it is in the backward direction.
Okay, sir.
Okay. So the next part, we'll see what are the factors on which the friction depends. So clearly we'll see how or what are the factors on which the friction depends. Factors
Sir,
on which
it depends on irregularities and smoothness and roughness of the surface, sir.
factors on which the friction depends. We'll clearly see what are the different factors on which it depends. So first, very first thing, it depends on the nature of the surface. Right? The force of friction, it depends on nature of the surface. Right? So what is the nature, like how rough it is or how smooth it is. Force of friction, it depends on the nature of the surface. Secondly, it depends upon the weight of the body. Depends on the weight of the body. Right? Force of friction, it depends on the weight of the body. It depends on the nature of the surface. These are the two factors on which the force of friction depends. Remember, the force of friction does not depend on the area of contact. This is a very important point here, that the force of friction, it does not depend on the area of contact. Okay, so make a note also that frictional force does not depend on area of contact. So a substance which has a bigger area and a substance which has a smaller area, it does not matter. The force of friction will depend only on the body and also on the okay. So understood? The frictional force, it does not depend on the area of contact, but it does depend only on load and the nature of the surface. Okay. We had studied different types of friction. So what is the different type in the different types of friction? We had studied about static friction and kinetic friction or dynamic friction. So what is static friction and what is kinetic friction? What is a static friction and what is kinetic friction?
Sir,
Sir, the flows,
Hmm?
static friction is the friction when we move an object which is in stationary, sir.
Okay, static friction is a friction which act on a body when it is stationary. Alright, it just tends to move. So when a body just tends to move, then there is force of friction. Alright, and that force of friction we call as the static friction. Then what is kinetic friction? What is kinetic friction? Yes, what is friction?
There kinetic friction, it means it opposes the motion in that.
Kinetic friction. Kinetic friction, it is the frictional force offered by a surface on a moving body. When body moves, so the friction that acts on it, we call it the kinetic friction. Okay. Then we have something limiting friction. What is limiting friction? What is limiting friction? See, we are covering both chapters. We are covering the chapter force and we are covering the chapter friction also. So force and friction, both the chapters are being covered. Yes. What
Sir, friction between two static force, static friction.
Okay, the force of friction which act on a body, or the maximum value of the static friction, we call it as the limiting friction. Okay. Maximum value of static friction is called as limiting friction. We'll see one of the assignment based on this chapter friction. In 10 minutes, we will do a few questions based on this. All right. Just give me 1 minute. I'll give you some questions. I have few Olympiad papers also, so I'll just be sharing. All right. So here is SOF sample paper, which we'll just be doing. Okay, so just 1 minute. This question. The questions are visible enough. You see this first question number 7. Which of the following can produce a virtual image? Yes, anyone? Are you able to speak up?
Sir, A.
Sir, all of these, sir.
All of these, sir.
Sir, all of these, sir.
Yes, sir. D.
The answer is all of these. Okay. A plane mirror can produce a virtual image. A concave lens produces all virtual images, and a convex lens, it can produce a virtual as well as a real image. Okay. So you look up at the question, say which of the following can produce. Obviously, convex lens can produce a virtual image, and therefore the option will be option D. Okay. Now the when a glass rod is rubbed with a piece of silk cloth, both cloth, which option is correct?
Sir, B, I think.
B. Yes.
Yes, sir. B. B.
Okay, the correct option is B. Both the rod becomes positively charged while the cloth has a negative charge. That is correct option is B. I'll show you a table from which you can decide which object will be positively charged and which object will be negatively charged. Okay. For question 9c, a body immersed in a fluid experiences an upward thrust which depends upon. Okay. So a body
Sir,
immersed in a
D, I
fluid,
think.
Sir, C, sir.
upward thrust which depends upon.
Sir, option
Sir,
D.
It
sir,
depends on option A, the weight of the fluid displaced by
Okay.
it. It depends on the weight of the fluid displaced by it. Okay. Next is when copper is exposed to moist air for a long time, which of the following is formed? So those who know about copper, see copper is not very reactive, but copper when exposed to
CuOH2, sir.
CuOH2,
Sir, D, sir.
copper
D, sir.
hydroxide. Hmm?
So sorry, sir, it's D. Hydroxide, no. Or copper does not form a hydroxide.
Cu2O.
Yes.
No, Cu2O is not there. It's copper carbonate. Option B.
Sir,
Okay. When copper,
Cu2O
Mhm.
would occur, right, sir?
It will
Sir,
occur.
O2.
No. Copper oxide is not formed. Copper oxide is black in color. Okay.
sir,
So it
if it
doesn't
is,
form copper oxide.
so it is B, D.
What?
Sir, so which option is correct, sir?
Copper carbonate.
Okay, sir.
Okay. Not Cu2O. It's copper carbonate. Initially, copper oxide is formed, which reacts with carbon dioxide to form copper carbonate. So the correct option is B. Now, which of the following statements is true with respect to diamond?
Sir, B.
Which of the
Sir, the answer is C, sir. Both copper hydroxide as well as copper carbonate is formed. I checked right now.
both? Okay. So where did you check the answers?
Sir, Google only, sir. The source is just a minute, sir.
Okay, it's both the things. Copper hydroxide and copper carbonate both are formed.
The source is Byju's only, sir.
Since it says moist air over here. Okay.
Yes,
Since it says moist air, if it isn't moist air, then it's copper carbonate.
that's why I said copper hydroxide first.
Yeah. So it's copper. When copper is exposed to moist air for a long time, it forms both copper hydroxide and copper carbonate. So therefore, the correct option is C. Cu2 is not formed. Which of the following statements is true with respect to diamond? So you have just 30 seconds to answer this.
Sir, B.
So the answer is C, sir.
Yes,
Yes,
sir.
the correct answer is C. Each carbon atom is the crystal. In the crystal is surrounded by 4 other corners of a regular tetrahedron.
Has a
Okay.
covalent bond, sir. That's why.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Bye, everyone. We'll see you again in next class. With the same topic, we'll see some more questions.
Okay, sir. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Bye, sir.
Thank you, sir.